Alright, today I'm going to show you how to take a blank screen like this and turn it into a screen with your artwork burned into it that you can use to print t-shirts. Now most of this is going to be done in a darkroom environment. It has to be light safe, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the lights and we'll get started. Okay, now that we're in a light safe environment, we can go ahead and add the emulsion to our screen. We're going to be using a dual cure diazo emulsion from CCI. It's available at silkscreensupplies.com along with everything else that we're going to be using today. This is a very versatile emulsion. It can be used with any kind of ink, so this is what you want. This particular quart is mixed already, but if you're starting from scratch, it's going to come with a little plastic bottle with powdered diazo in it. That's what activates the emulsion, and you're just going to fill that bottle halfway with distilled water, add it to this mixture, and then mix it up well. Then after it's mixed, you want to put the cap back on it for a little while, about a half hour, and let the air bubbles that you've mixed into it kind of escape. We're going to be applying it to the screen with this aluminum scoop coater. This is a 16-inch scoop coater. It's good for 20 by 24-inch screens. The caps on the end come off, so once you apply the emulsion to the reservoir, you want to make sure that these stay on there because otherwise you'll have a big mess. You have a sharp edge and sort of a dull edge. The dull edge, the more rounded edge, is going to add more emulsion to the screen. It's going to make it a little bit thicker, and you'll put down more ink on your shirt when you go to print. So that's the side that we're going to be using, the thick side. You'll be able to tell the difference when you have it in your hand. We're going to go ahead and add some emulsion to the reservoir here, and then we're going to take this thicker edge and press it up against the screen and then tilt it forward. When you tilt it forward, the emulsion, which is sort of thick, is going to run to the edge, and then once it's all along the edge up against the screen, we're just going to drag it up like this. And then you want to kind of tip it back and cut a little line like that. And we're going to do the flat side first, the print side of the screen. We're going to turn it around and do the other side. And we're going to do just a one coat on each side. If you want a thicker stencil for more ink, you can let this dry once it's coated and then come back and add another layer on the outside or another layer on both sides, and it'll make a much thicker stencil. Okay, let's add the emulsion. I'm going to pour some in the scoop coater here. It's a good idea to get more rather than less, because if you run out in the middle of a job, you're going to have to redo it. So we're going to start at the bottom here, leave about an inch of the screen exposed, because there's no need to take the emulsion all the way to the frame. We're not going to need that much. So we're going to leave about an inch at the bottom here. We're going to tip it forward until it runs a line all the way along the screen. And once it's doing that, applying pressure, you're just going to raise it up, tip it back, let the emulsion fall back into the reservoir. Otherwise you'll end up with big thick lines of emulsion that are hard to take off later. And there we go, there's our first side. And we're going to flip it around. Do the outside flat surface first, so that we do this side second, and it pushes all the emulsion to the flat print side of the screen. So in here we'll just start an inch from the bottom again, let it tip forward, and raise it up. Tip it back to cut a line, and there we go. Now once that's coated, we're going to want to let it dry this side down, flat side down. That way you end up with a flatter surface on the bottom. Once the emulsion is dried on your screen, it's time to print out your artwork on a transparency. I'm using an 8.5 by 11 waterproof R film, which works great with standard printers. The important thing to remember with your transparencies is that it's dark enough, because the purpose of this is going to be to block light on the screen when we go to expose it. If you're having a hard time with your transparencies not printing out dark enough, you can either take a Sharpie and go over the printed image, or you can print out 2 or 3 transparencies and line them up. Once that's all ready to go, it's time to line up the transparencies on our screen. To center our image on the screen, the first thing we're going to do is put our transparency on our platen and line it up exactly where we want it to print on a shirt when we put the shirt on here. We're going to put tape sticky side up on each corner of the transparency and load our screen ready to go in our press. Then we're just going to put the press down right on top of where we want it and make sure that the tape sticks to every corner. Lift it up and it's centered and ready to go. Okay, we're going to be exposing our screen with a 500 watt halogen exposure unit. We're going to do that by placing the screen transparency side up, right here under the light source. Remember, the transparency's job is to block the light, so that's why this has to be on the top. We're going to put a piece of glass on top of the transparency. The purpose of this is to keep positive contact between the film and your screen. Any part of your transparency that lifts up during the exposure process, your design will lose definition in that area. So this keeps a nice positive contact between the transparency and the screen. We're going to plug this light in and let it sit for 12 minutes. Okay, now that we've exposed the screen, let's take it outside and hit it with the pressure washer.